Ladies and gents, this may be the most embarrassing narrative twist in the history of hip-hop relationships, so please stop whatever you're doing. Imagine being publicly rejected by the woman you left her for after years of being imprisoned, shunned by the business, and going through every controversy that could have killed you, rather than just discarded. The GWAT herself, Claressa Shields, is accused of kicking Papoose out like sneakers from the previous season without even turning around. Sources from within the sector. Pap has been wandering around with his glare, babbling about his faults and what could have been, according to those who never get it wrong. In other words, remorse is killing him. The identical man who once boasted about nowadays, loyalty is the quintessential saying, you never know what you've got until it's gone. Here's the worst part though. According to insiders, Remy Ma isn't even returning his calls. Unfortunately, the Queen has moved on and seems to be enjoying his demise as much as she would a Netflix series. And what do you know? With popcorn in hand, people are monitoring the streets while they wait for the next tea spill. For this is more than karma. With VIP ringside seats, this is karma. We must go back to the point where the cracks first appeared in the tape in order to comprehend how viciously Papoose got here. Ladies and gentlemen, let's rewind it. Papoose and Remy Ma used to be the dominant hip-hop duo that the streets cherished cheering for. By visiting Ray weekly, holding her down, and publicly stating that no amount of time in prison could sever their link, Pap became the epitome of loyalty during Ray's 6-year prison sentence. Rap history was cemented with that portrayal of him as the loyal spouse, but that flawless photo received a terrible smear somewhere in the process. Months prior to the present circus making headlines, industry rumors began to circulate. It was reported that Pap had been seen at several Claressa Shields promotional events, and not only as a friendly, casual companion. No. According to sources, there were changes in energy, prolonged embraces, secret discussions in dimly lit nooks, and the type of conduct that is obvious when there are cameras everywhere. People first dismissed it as innocuous networking. After all, Pap is accustomed to hanging around with heavyweights, and Clarissa is the face of women's boxing. However, the so-called networking changed after that. Pap appeared out of nowhere during training sessions, picture shoots, and even informal dinners where Remy wasn't present. He remained calm when asked in interviews, claiming he was only rooting for a winner in her lane. However, that winner reportedly had a fiancé behind the scenes. This information adds to the controversy of what transpired afterward. Because things get nasty here. Several unidentified people close to both sides claim that Pap and Clarissa started to develop what one insider called undeniable chemistry. It didn't happen right away. It burned slowly. The sort of inconspicuous flirtation that develops into something you can't ignore. After a while, the suspicions of an affair evolved from lighthearted murmurs to outright accusations, the kind of murmurs that made their way to Remy's ears. Now, controversy is nothing new to Remy. However, this was a personal matter. According to reports, she addressed Pat in private, offering him an opportunity to end the conversation. Rather, he went all out, protecting Clarissa and their friendship, and supposedly brushing off Remy's worries as envy. That was the first error. The second error was underestimating the receipts. Nowadays, it's impossible to sneeze without someone catching it in 4K. Additionally, if the reports are to be true, there were reportedly SMS and messages that went beyond lighthearted conversation. We're talking late night, you up, energy sprinkled, with inside jokes and thinly veiled compliments that no married man should be sending to a lady who's not his wife. The darkest anxieties in Remy's camp were cemented by these purported communications. And this is where Papoose took his biggest risk. Instead of attempting to make things better at home, he took a risky and audacious decision that would alter the course of both his personal and professional lives. Remy Ma, who kept him in check while his own career was barely afloat for someone already bound to another man, was left behind when he picked Clarissa. You can't recover from a headline like that. The streets took note. Social media exploded. Incredulously, every public exchange between Pap and Clarissa during the previous 12 months was examined in Twitter threads, which slowed down certain scenes as if they were from the Zapruder movie. Videos of Pap at Clarissa's fights were superimposed with dramatic music and comments such as "This didn't age well." TikTok producers had a field day. Regarding Pap's reputation, the reaction did not happen right away. Some supporters first attempted to justify him by claiming that he was deserving of happiness. However, things quickly changed when Clarissa's closeness with her fiancé became apparent. Papoose became the antagonist in a novel he likely believed he would be praised for when the plot changed from a fresh romance to a home-destroying scandal. But karma, oh karma loves a good plot twist. Not long after Pap and Remy's separation became well known, and everyone was taken aback when Claressa Shields revealed that she had broken up with Papoose. She also didn't do it in silence. No, ladies and gentlemen, there was no possibility of misunderstanding because this was done in public. Sources claim that she made it clear to him that their relationship was done. And why? She was returning to herself and perhaps rekindling her relationship with her first fiancé. The embarrassment came immediately. Imagine yourself stuck in the middle of a hurricane with no land in sight after destroying the bridge to your safe port. A wager that Pap had taken all his money on backfired. The guy who had previously been the epitome of fidelity was now the poster kid for poor choices. Remy Ma remained mute, which somehow made the situation 10 times worse. As if that weren't bad enough. Because for someone like Remy, remaining silent is a tactic, not a sign of weakness. And she remained silent each day. The internet filled up the gaps with its own stories, the majority of which portrayed Pap as a warning. The murmurs are becoming more audible than before. According to reports, Papoose has been contacting their common pals to see whether Remy would even engage in conversation. Others assert that he is privately expressing sorrow and even confessing to some that he ruined the nicest thing he had ever had. It remains to be seen if such admissions are sincere or merely damage control. But one thing is without a doubt, the entire globe is watching as the guy gets trapped. When we last left off, Papoose had walked away from his marriage to Remy Ma, the woman who had supported him for more than 10 years, and gone all in on Claressa Shields, only to find himself humiliated and alone. The internet was devouring the news of Clarissa, the GWAT, openly severing relations like a brand new bag of hot Cheetos. However, believe me when I say that was only the prelude. The problem with Hollywood and hip-hop controversies is that they never remain one-dimensional. They go in a spiral. And this one was on the verge of turning into a Category 5 hurricane. Let's start with the visuals. Papoose stopped wearing a suit and grinning while strolling the red carpet with Remy. It seemed as though he was impervious to being photographed by paparazzi since he was, let's say, not really camera-ready, baggy sweats, unshaven. The dejected stance that shouts, "I'm reconsidering every choice I've ever made." The captions for each of those images, which read, "This is what happens when you fumble the bag," went viral. Twitter never stopped. Papoose left Beyoncé for Ashanti, but Beyoncé is Remy. And Ashanti already had a fiancé, according to a specific tweet that went viral. The bloodbath it is the comment section. Because he was the ultimate degradation, fans dragged him. He was likened by memes to comedy characters who damaged things without cause. Additionally, TikTok users used sound effects and comedy tunes to recreate the purported split. However, even if the internet, something sinister was on the horizon. Clown Pat. Do you recall Clarissa's former fiancé, the man from whom Pap is said to have stolen her? Evidently, he wasn't going to overlook the entire situation. According to insiders, this ex has been covertly providing vloggers and YouTube gossip channels with exclusive information. Not only hearsay voice notes, screenshots of texts, and purported images of Pap in inappropriate locations. According to one leaked communication, Pap was joking about how simple it was to convince Clarissa to leave her partner. Another late-night recording in which he boasted that if the connection became public, his name would be in the news. Those disclosures quickly made their way into social media. And after they did, the story changed. From heartbreaking separation to deliberate treachery. All of a sudden, Pap was more than just the man who made a poor romantic decision. He was the snake that damaged someone else's garden after scuttling into it and then getting bitten. Conversely, Remy was winning this split without doing anything wrong. She began using Instagram to add mysterious captions. Simple taunts like "the trash took itself out" are all that are used. In order to give you what you deserve, God occasionally allows you to lose what you believed you desired. It was devoured by the fans. Thousands of responses encouraged her and reminded Pap of just what he had thrown away as each post went viral. You know what made Pap's situation even worse? The music business was observing. Silently, brands and event planners started to retreat. He was scheduled to perform at an upcoming hip-hop festival, but the promoter reportedly canceled, saying to a source, "We don't want that kind of mess overshadowing our event." Plans for sponsorship agreements came to a standstill. Once admired for his devoted support of women, the guy now had a reputation for being erratic and untrustworthy. However, here is when things became really risky for him. Several people, some purportedly within Clarissa's closest circle, began speculating about not only about their brief affair, but also about the true events that transpired behind closed doors. The type of reveal that might not only ruin Pap's remaining reputation, may expose him to severe legal consequences. See, there are a lot of financial, branding, and contractual commitments involved with working with someone as well known as Claressa Shields. Lawsuits may result from any disruption, particularly if specific private conversations or images are revealed. Some of those receipts, based on what I've been told, are nuclear. Pap was spinning in the meanwhile. According to those close to him, he has been attempting to persuade their common acquaintances to arrange a ceasefire with Remy.
Watch the daily videos on my channel Star Faults. Don't forget to press the bell icon. Please like this video and subscribe so you never miss our daily updates. Thanks for watching, and remember to stay tuned right here on Star Faults for more.
According to what I'm hearing, she is prepared to use it as her trump card in the event that Pap attempts to rewrite the narrative to make her the antagonist. It won't just be the end of things if she plays that card. This scandal, the Pap, as we know, will come to an end. So, here is our current situation. Remy Ma's legacy, radiant and unaltered. Claressa Shields maintains authority of the GWAT, professionally marginalized, humiliated, and only one mistake away from complete destruction. Furthermore, everyone is wondering when the next leak will occur rather than if it will occur at all, because the last blow in situations like these always comes as a surprise. Let's be perfectly clear, ladies and gentlemen, this isn't your typical awkward celebrity split. Stories like this have the power to change careers, turn reputations around, and demonstrate just how quickly devotion can be used as leverage. Papoose left the woman who had supported him throughout his lowest points in search of someone else. She never considered him more than a fleeting sensation. If these receipts are even somewhat accurate, and now that things have changed so quickly, the internet is going crazy. Remy Ma appears to be aging in reverse as she sits back unaltered. Claressa Shields is still playing her game like a pro, and could be clinging to the last bit of information that will permanently ban Pap from the business. And Papa, he's frantically trying to find out where it all went wrong in public, in private, and most likely while he sleeps. Warning: the moment he undervalued the two ladies he believed he could outplay, things went bad. This is where I turn to you though. What are your thoughts? Was it all karma? Catching up to Pap at last? Or is there a more significant game being played here that we aren't yet aware of? Should Clarissa reveal the last bombshell if she truly has it? Or is it more potent to keep it in the vault? The most important issue of all is whether you believe that Pap and Remy have the slightest possibility of ever getting back together. Or is that ship now in the Mariana Trench, having sunk that far? I can already tell you that this comment area will be a complete mess, so please share your ideas below. And you already know if you want to read the next part of this controversy as soon as it comes out. Get the Gossip Spill vibe subscription.